improvements. Good afternoon. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Kern Community College District Board of Trustees. The board will reconvene at this time. I'd like to ask Jennifer to call the roll, please.
Here.
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 Here. Thank you. Sufficient number of members present. We've established a quorum, so we'll proceed with the meeting. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Trustee Gomez Heitzberg to lead us in the pledge.
Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Gomez Heitzberg. The Board of Trustees met in closed session earlier today, and the board took action in closed session to reject a claim filed against the district by J.D. Lambright. We'll move on to the public comment portion of the meeting. At this time, the public may address the Board of Trustees on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board that is not on the agenda. The public may address the Board of Trustees on each of the agenda items as those items are considered. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes per topic. 20 minutes total shall be the maximum amount of time allotted for public speakers on any one subject, regardless of the number of speakers at any one board meeting. At the discretion of a majority of the board, these times may be extended. Each person who addresses the board must first be recognized by the presiding officer. Comments must be addressed to the board as a whole and not to individual members or district employees. The board and staff are not obligated to comment on or respond to or address comments by the public. At the opening of this meeting, names and agenda items were taken for public comments. Are there any additional members of the public who wish to make public comments? You can grab a form to do just that now. So we'll begin with the public comments. We have our first speaker is Ms. I think is it America Nino Rodriguez?
Good afternoon. Interim Chancellor Burke, President Agbalog, and members of the board. My name is America Nino Rodriguez, and I'm speaking today on behalf of the Campaign for College Opportunity and the Dolores Huerta Foundation. We would like to thank Chancellor Christian and the board for your commitment to monitoring and supporting the successful implementation of equitable placement and completion policy. The work happening on every single campus across the district has already resulted in thousands more students taking strides closer to their college goals. And for that, we applaud you all. I would like to also announce and congratulate Porterville College for receiving 4 2023 Excellence in Placement Awards this year. Porterville College will be recognized for their excellence in campus-wide transfer level math and English enrollment, and for their excellence in closing racial equity gaps for Latinx students through their award for Latinx math and English enrollment. So we'd like to congratulate President Habib on that. As applications for equitable placement and completion grants open, the Campaign for College Opportunity looks forward to working with campus leaders across the district to support and uplift the best practices that lead us toward our collective goal of increased student success. Thank you for your leadership and excuse me, congratulations again to our equity and placement honorees. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is it Cerise Montano?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? My name is Cerise Montano. I'm Deputy Director at the Kern County Department of Agriculture, but first and foremost, I'm a mother. I'm here today because, as we know, it's graduation season and the community college district will soon have an influx of fresh new students. And I wanted to share my story, my family's story of our experience with the community college. A little bit of family background. My husband and I are college graduates, born and raised in California. We're hardworking, career-driven, solid middle-class family, and we instilled higher education in our children because we wanted the best futures for them. Today, I want to talk a little bit about my son's experience. He was a good student. He's always worked hard for his grades. It didn't come easy. He was an athlete in high school. He was in Project Lead the Way, the science and engineering program. He was in the agricultural and natural resources pathway. And he decided to stay in Bakersfield and go to BC upon graduation. His first year at BC was in person and everything was fine. He had a 3.2 GPA. The second year at BC, COVID hit. The kids turned our dining room into a classroom. It was Zoom all day, every day, 10 to 12 hours a day. I've never seen students work so hard. That semester, he was taking chemistry and calculus. And I realized nobody expected the world to shut down, but professors were clearly ill-prepared and ill-trained on how to deal with this whole new world. He tried to stick it out the best he could, but he ended up withdrawing from chemistry and failing calculus. His 2-year plan was out the door. There's no way you can accomplish an AAA due to the prerequisites and the class availability. Once you get slightly off track, your entire plan is skewed for at least a year. Counseling was highly inconsistent. We talked to so many different counselors and each had a different course of action. Each had different recommendations. We didn't know who to trust. I think counseling is the single most important step in a college success. You have to have a solid plan. We feel like college was failing the students with regard to having highly trained, consistent counselors, and as well as having the availability to talk to them when needed. The second semester came around and he enrolled again in chemistry and calculus, but there was no improvement in instruction. These are extremely difficult subjects and very hard to do over Zoom. His professor sent out YouTube links and had the students teach themselves how to do calculus, and then check in at the class time as if it was just office hours, just to ask questions, no instruction. It seemed that the professors became lazy, collecting paychecks from home without any accountability. I feel like the college failed students in oversight and following what the curriculum was for those Zoom classes and oversight on the professors and what they were doing. My son withdrew again from both classes, more defeat, crying, seeing an 18-year-old, 19-year-old just defeated is extremely difficult. I was worried that he lost all desire for his college education. Then came his third year. BC was still not in person and he couldn't go through it a third time. We moved him to Fresno, where there's a community college district, 4 colleges that he could go to with in-person classes and plenty of availability. Once he got there, panic attacks and extreme anxiety set in. He feared continued failure. It was like PTSD, all from a bad college experience. I haven't shared this with many people, but I think it's important for you to know how an experience can affect a person and a family. We had to put my son on medication, send him to counseling. He even talked about hurting himself. The mother's worst nightmare. Luckily, he had a successful year with forward progress and his confidence restored. He just completed his 4th year of college at Fresno State University with straight A's. He still has at least another year to go, maybe 2, but it's a success story. And I know everybody says, well, it's COVID, but there's real outcomes for what's happened to students during that time. And there's still a lot of in Zoom, not in-person classes. And so I just wanted to share my story because I hope that everybody remembers that students aren't numbers. They're all people with real stories. And I do appreciate everything that the Kern Community College District has done. I myself have taken professional development classes. I love education. I'm a nerd. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other additional speakers? Okay, hearing or seeing none, we'll move on to item 6. This is a work study session. Letter A, presentation of the Kern Community College District proposed tentative budget for the 2023-24 year as recommended in the business service report. Chancellor Burke.
Ask CFO Kamini to presentation.
Can I get the TVs turned on, please? All right, good afternoon. Today we'll be discussing the 23-24 tentative budget as outlined primarily through the governor's May revise, as well as started from the January budget. Obviously, the governor's budget itself isn't approved for the next couple of weeks, so there's possibility that we'll see changes between our tentative and adopted budget in September, depending on what the outcomes of that final budget is for the state. So as the state is looking forward, they are seeing a decrease in revenues and projected revenues. The governor's budget is a little optimistic compared to some of the other pundits and some of our other offices, particularly the LAO. The LAO is forecasting less revenues as well as the Department of Finance. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that later when we get into some of our revenue growth and projections as well. But that being said, current community college district is looking forward to an increase. And that is, first off, is the governor's budget is being, I would consider it a win for community colleges. Right now, they're promising to fund COLA growth of 8.22%, although some of that growth is being funded with one-time funds, which is why the LAO is recommending that districts don't budget more than, I think it's just over 5% in COLA because of that one-time effect going away after this year and the uncertainty of being able to support it in future years. But this is our total budget, not just the money that comes from the student-centered funding formula. As we continue to see, we've done an exceptional job in continuing to go after and get grants to be able to support and complement our unrestricted apportionment that comes through the state side. So again, Governor Newsom's budget should be considered a win for community colleges, maybe not other areas of the government, but for community colleges and actually K through 12 as well. It's a very strong budget. There's still some uncertainty. The revenues that have been coming in are still falling behind what was budgeted. In January, they're projecting a shortfall of 22.5 million. The governor is now projecting that to be about 31.5 million. And there are others out there that are thinking it's going to be closer to 35 to 40 billion dollars. These are significant decreases. And depending on where that comes up, unfortunately, we won't know until October when personal income taxes are due. Will we have a clear picture of what the impact is truly going to be for this fiscal year? Key investments are very similar to where they were yet last year. Looking for still universal transitional kindergarten, increases in healthcare, school meals, still pushing the climate agenda, healthcare access, homelessness, housing. As far as the items of those which really hit the community college district, housing, there's still funding going on for student housing. So BC's project is going to be coming underway and is still fully funded, and there's still money out there for potentially for Saracosa and Porterville's applications as they continue to move forward through their process. On the apportionment side, still throwing this out here, there's still been no change. So this has stayed pretty consistent for a little over about say 18-20 months now, that there will be a end to the hold harmless coming after the 24-25 year, and that would be the new floor. So starting 25-26, no districts would be in hold harmless anymore. Just a reminder, we're doing exceptionally well. We are not in hold harmless, so that would not have any impact on our ability to fund, or this part alone would not have any impact on our ability to continue to earn the money that we currently do. We talked about an 8.22% COLA. This is up from January's 8.13%. But again, the LAO is recommending that we don't go above 5% or a little bit over 5%, just to ensure that we take into account that if those one-time funds are not being able to be funded in future years. We are currently forecasted as a district to be a little bit below that. As our funding model, we may do a small adjustment to get up to it if necessary, depending on some of the other outcomes of the June budget, but we are not anticipating going over the LAO's recommendation. As of right now, there's a opportunity for a 0.5% growth within the community college system. And we will definitely be able to grab some of that. Again, for the community college system, major policy decisions are supposed to be framed around improvement in student educational outcomes, advancing equity, increased intersegmental collaboration, as well as improved workforce preparedness. That is consistent with last year's as well. Some of the significant categorical programs that we have, unfortunately, this is the pick and choose method that has been going on for years and years on what gets increases and what doesn't. Fortunately, adult ed program is a very big program that is going to get COLA assigned to it this year. But two of our other largest categorical programs, the Student Equity and Achievement Program, otherwise known as SEEP, and Strong Workforce, are getting no change. So we're going to essentially have to do more with less in those categorical programs. EOPS and DSPS are getting COLA adjustments, and apprenticeship it's a long story short, with the technical adjustment after COLA, they're going to be getting actually a negative COLA for the year. It's the net result. And then CalWorks is going to get COLA as well. The challenge at the college levels is that we don't know which programs each year are going to get the COLA. And so it makes it very difficult to long-term plan when you go from getting an increase 1 year to getting no increase for a year or maybe 2 years. But it's a model that we've had to live with, so we're used to it, but it makes it difficult to plan for the long term. Some significant one-time items. The May revision includes a reduction of the COVID block grant that was given out to us which is the current year, the 22-23 year. At the state level, this was a $650 million grant of one-time funds. It has been reduced by $345 million to $305 million. And KCCD will be impacted by that should it be enacted into the state budget here in a couple of weeks. Likewise, we're seeing the same thing happen in our deferred maintenance program. In January, the governor said we're going to use $200 million of the prior year amounts to fund enrollment and retention. I'm sorry, they used $200 million from the deferred maintenance reduction to support enrollment and retention strategies that they're basically going to reallocate. That has been reduced down to $100 million from the January's proposal. On the capital outlay side and the deferred maintenance, we'll just skip capital outlay for a second to carry on with that. We were at $840.7 million for the system one time deferred maintenance. That has now been decreased over January and then May by over 53%, reducing by $452 million. And currently there is no funding planned for 23-24 deferred maintenance. That being said, what is left on the table is still a sizable amount that we typically don't see, but unfortunately, all of our colleges across the state have already had plans for those monies, and in some cases have already entered into contracts and or done some of the work. Fortunately for us, I don't think we haven't gotten to the point where we've done any work, but we have entered some contracts. We can adjust if necessary. We put a pause on it until we can figure out whether or not it's going to be the end result when the budget gets signed in the next couple of weeks. A significant portion of our budget is always in our benefits, and the increases in this can have a significant impact. Fortunately, this year, CalSTRS remained flat at 19.1%, but CalPERS continued to increase from 25.37% to 26.68%. So another significant increase in impact to our overall budget there. That's a really hard slide to see. So what we have here is we have our current year adopted budget, 22-23 versus our 23-24 tentative proposed budget. And then to the right is our projected 22-23 results for this current year. And then there's the change versus the adopted. In this case here, what you're really seeing is that we have an increase in revenues year over year. Primarily that is driven by some of the COLA growth, as well as some of the growth that we're anticipating in some of our other categorical funds that have been given the COLA increases as well. And then you have the mandated increases that we have in the academic salaries through negotiation, as well as step and column, and then the employee benefits, any increases that we're anticipating in those categories as well. Significant any capital outlay that is being done that we're anticipating outside of Measure J. And then we have some other transfers ins and outs that is primarily taking care of our long-term liabilities that we have obligated out there that are the current portion thereof to be funded in this next upcoming year. We are showing a small, relatively small compared to our budget decrease in the ending fund balance, otherwise known as our reserves, is primarily due to the fact that significant portion of our student center funding formula is based off of a 3-year average for credit FTES. And due to the timing of that, we have 2 colleges which would not have earned as much as they had in the prior year, plus the COLA that we assigned. And so there's a small stabilization amount to ensure that they are able to continue to fund the growth that they currently have based off of the student populations that they're serving right now. Anticipating that this would be a one-time need based off of where the 3-year average will look like next year, with the 3rd year out rolling off and this next year coming on. Both those colleges should not be in that situation moving forward. Talking about unrestricted reserves, as you currently see here, still very healthy. We'll begin the year at over $116 million. Anticipated to end the year just over $114 million. So the strength of the district is very strong and still have a significant ending balance here to be able to weather future storms. For the district, on the unrestricted side, that equates to over a 49% of our budget as can be taken up with our reserves, very strong position. And then between the district and the colleges, that results in 46 million for the district-wide reserve and 68 million at the college level. Going through some of the compliance tests, which are important for us to always keep in mind, and ensures our health as an organization. General unrestricted fund salaries and benefits, the goal is to be less than 80%. We're currently projecting to be roughly 73.4%. And then the goal of having 20% of unallocated district-wide reserves. We currently are sitting at 19.87%. I expect some adjustments between now and adopted budget to get us up to that 20%, as we're not that far away from that. But overall, with the district being at 49.1%, we are in very strong shape. 2 other compliance tests. We have the 50% law calculation. We're currently sitting at 50.33%. That is an improvement over last year at this time when I came to the board at 50.001%. So we continue to look at this and we always monitor this as the year goes along to ensure our compliance. And then on the faculty obligation number, otherwise known as the FON, our calculated number that comes to the state is 495.8, and we are currently projecting to come in at 498 to ensure that should we have any last minute hiccups, that we're still able to meet our obligation for the faculty number at minimum of 496. We don't do points of people. So potential threats. The biggest in the state right now is rising inflation, interest rates, all having potential significant impacts on the ability for people to spend and earn. And what that could equate in is obviously significant negative impact on state revenues, of which a majority of how we're funded is through state revenues. So that is probably the biggest threat that we have out there at the moment. And so far we're not seeing it impact the community colleges, but I think there is more out in the future that could show its face. And that's why we have significant reserves to hold off that storm. That is my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the board on this item? Comments?
Art.
Trustee Corrigan.
So Mike, thank you for the presentation, and we saw this at finance, so I'm fairly up on what's going on. The LAO continues to project that 35 to $40 billion deficit, as you pointed out. And while you've done a good job on this budget, we're going to use 4 million of our reserves. I know it takes us down a little bit. I think we can replace those come February, if we've done in the past, as we bring money in for the colleges and then back to us. The concern I have is getting through this budget is phase one. Getting through the next budget is probably going to be the bigger problem. If financial, and you noted very well on your last slide, the liabilities are facing us. I believe those liabilities are real. Trustee Meek and I have been saying for a few years, this was coming. It's now coming. And we think historically, I would move to Chancellor Burke and what we went through in 2008 to 2012. We didn't know how long it was going to last. We started out conservatively and then we got more conservative as we moved on. We were talking previously, he had a plan A, B, C. And we got 2012, we were on plan C, getting through it. We got through it. I think we need to be thinking that much further in advance as we go through this year's budget. We need to be prudent in what we're doing. Reserves are at our minimum as a district. The colleges are now versus 2008, 12, Chancellor help me. Colleges are in much better shape than they were at that time, reserve wise.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so they've got the ability, elasticity to bounce back from this a little better. Where do you see us going in the future then next year on we continue to look at this as prudently as we are right now, or do we even need to get more conservative? There are areas we should think about doing cuts, not thinking about right now as we adopt the final budget in September. Probably an unfair question because you don't know what the legislature is going to do the next few weeks. I'm just trying to think, should we have a plan A? This is your A, plan B that says this doesn't happen, we go there, plan C. I don't know if you have that. We didn't talk about that finance.
Yeah.
Because I was absorbing all this the other day and I've had a chance to look at it.
I think the approach that we've taken with this budget is that plan A would have been to take the 8.22% and run with it. And we're already on plan B, which is we don't think that plan A is realistic. And we believe that the LAO is probably a little bit better solution for us to look at going forward. Plan C, we've already been talking about it to some degree and with the VP of Finances and where we can tighten our belts a little bit. That would be if there's a near term miss. And then if there's something more longer term, that should be enough to get us through this next year. Should there be anything happen between this next couple of weeks or even through October when they get the final results. However, if the outlook at that point in time looks even worse as far as what the LAO and the Department of Finance are predicting as far as revenues are concerned, then during that next budget cycle for 24-25, we will be looking at things considerably differently than we're looking at them today.
For the board's benefit, we talked about it in finance. When you see categorical with no change, same funding as before, they're still step and column pay rate increases and so forth. That's actually a negative. That's costing us money. And that cost, I believe, gets pushed to the colleges. So they'll have to use their reserves or their funding to handle those programs if they keep them at the colleges, correct?
So typically what would happen is that, yes, the availability of resources at that point in time shrinks if you're holding any salaries and benefits in those grants. So what we end up having to do is either adapt with how we serve our students with that money, or we end up having to supplement with an unrestricted portion of our budget to be able to fund those operations.
Now, I'm always big on looking at our reserves like a savings account. It's okay to borrow money from my savings account, but I gotta have a plan on how I'm gonna put it back. So I want to be thinking about how we get to $4 to $5 million back into the district reserves in the next 12 to 18 months, if at all possible. It goes to heck in a handbasket and we've got to keep digging in like we did in 8, 9, 10, 11.
Mhm.
Can't remember the years, Tom. I was through there. Then we draw it down and then we figured out a way to get back into it. It took us some time.
Yeah, and I do want to make it clear that for those categorical programs right now that are budgeting or not, we're not budgeting any increase due to COLA. We are not tapping into reserves to continue to serve those students. We're
Okay.
ensuring that we're able to take care of it either with the money we got in those categoricals or through some of the increases we're getting in the unrestricted side. Or blending it with other funding that we are getting through some of the other grants that we continue to get awarded.
And your move on COLA is very wise to keep it down. Center whatever. Those one-time funds. Steve Gomez, Heidelberg, I think one-time funds should never go to payroll. Just doesn't work. So if you want to buy a new tractor, that's okay. Not the guy that's driving it, you don't get % raise. That's what I had. Answer, do you have any comments based on what we went through?
Yeah, I think the strategy of sticking to the LAOs to appropriate budget strategy, a good one. I'd also like to point out some of the inconsistencies I find in between the goals of the governor's goals. Two of his primary goals is expectation of improved student educational outcomes and the improved workforce preparedness. Yet the two major categorical funds that help us achieve that, he did not assign any. That inconsistency, I think, makes it clear that the board has got to be conservative, overcomes.
Go ahead, thank you.
Any other comments or questions from members of the board?
I would hope that we could have in the future to come back around with our student-centered funding formula, a conversation about that. That is how we get money in. And then the vision for success, where we are with those goals. So we can see all of that together with budget.
So we are planning to have a chancellor's retreat in early August. And it's at that retreat where the work on planning how to maximize the student-centered funding formula will be done, and then we will bring that forward to the board for a presentation. I believe that's been the way that's been done the last couple of
And
years.
with the vision for success,
And with-
where we are.
And we'll bring a
Perfect.
budget for
Thank
success
you.
as well.
Anything further? All right. Thank you, Mr. Giacomini, for your presentation. That brings us to our next item, letter A, seating of the 2023-24 student board member, Johanna Guzman, a student at Bakersfield College. Is she present?
I don't believe she is. She felt that the earliest she could get here would be 2 p.m. So I would ask the board if she gets here at 2 and we're still in session.
Sure, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and defer this item to later down in the agenda. So we'll move over to B, presentation of the Kern Community College District Annual Bond Oversight Committee Annual Report. Chancellor Burke.
But I'd like to ask Mr. Jess Frederick, the chairman of the Measure G and Measure J Bond Oversight Committee, to please give the Oversight Committee's report.
Okay, thank you.
Chair and board. I know so many of you on a first name basis. I'm trying to be polite. I'm very glad to be here. We have suffered our way through the COVID process. As you know, the Bond Oversight Committee is probably the most committed community group. We want to see the community college system flourish. We reviewed the 2021 and 2022 financial audits and the performance audits. We held a meeting on 5/25/2023 via Zoom. Our next meeting will most likely be face-to-face here in town. We reviewed the construction activities through 12/31/2022. The Oversight Committee finds the district to be in compliance with the requirements of Article 13A, Section 1B3 of the California Constitution. And that's the summary of the report, unless you'd like to know who the current committee members are, which I think are great community contributors other than myself. Other than that, thank you.
Any questions?
The committee members are myself, Diane Faucher, Leanne Cook has joined us, Richard Ellis, Martin Lanza, Paul Pavlitich, and then our student trustee, I think, is changing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
correct, yes.
And it is Sharad Barrage currently, but that will change.
Any questions from members of the board?
I'd like you to convey to the dedication.
Oh, I think we would reverse it to you guys and thank you as well for your due diligence and foresight and guidance in making this a successful community college system. We're happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frederick. Next item, letter C, approval of consent items, business services other than construction, agenda items 9A through 9D, business services, construction, agenda items 11A through 11QQ, educational services, agenda items 13A through 13C, and human resources, agenda items 15A through 15B.
Move approval.
I have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Very good. Any questions, comments on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter D, approval of the minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter E, correspondence of the Board of Trustees and or communications. Chancellor Burke.
There has been no correspondence or communications to report.
Thank you. Next item is the approval of the revised 2023-24 Board of Trustees calendar of meetings. The revised Board of Trustees calendar of meetings for 2023 and 24 is presented to the board for approval today. This revision specifically proposes that the regular meeting scheduled for July 13th, 2023 canceled, and that the Thursday, August 10th, 2023 meeting be rescheduled to Tuesday, August 8th. I have a
Second.
motion to approve by trustee Meek, seconded by trustee Corkins. Any questions? Trustee Carter?
I got an issue with the date, September 14th. Being at Louisville College. I love going to the colleges, but I just can't make it back quick enough. And then also the week we go to Saracoso, May 2nd, would not be able to make either of them, only because they're out of town. There's a way we could change those that I could make. And change the location back to.
Chairman, I don't want to step on you, but I know we did skip for similar reasons, the visit to Saracoso in here. So if we could work with the schedules of our trustees and commit to a once annual out to our rural communities that anyways present, and so I want to make sure we're considering everyone first, but maybe not skip that meeting being.
Any other comments? Questions? Concerns have been noted. We'll work with everybody to try to make something happen, but I agree to think that, historically, we visit all the our rural campuses, and we haven't been doing that recently, so I think it'd be a good opportunity to continue that. So with that, we'll entertain a motion.
Got a motion and a second.
Oh, very
We
good.
just need a vote.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is letter G. This is the first reading of the Saracoso College Bachelor's of Science proposal. The item is for information only. Is there any question? Okay. Move on to the next item, letter H. This is the presentation of the 311Q Community Financial Status Report, CCFS, for the third quarter of fiscal year 2023, 22-23. Mr. Burke.
And as CFO Michael Giacomini to give the report.
Yeah, so every quarter, we're required to report our actuals versus budget, as well as some of our other data to the State Chancellor's Office. This report here just reflects our activity through the third quarter. It's just for your review, so that you have it, in case you have any questions. Nothing really else to present on it.
Thank you, Mr. Giacomini. Any questions from members of the board on this item?
We're on target.
This is information only. Moving on, letter 8, well, number 8, business services approval other than construction. Letter A, adoption of the Kern Community College District tentative budget for the 2023-24 year and approval of the California Community College's GAN limit calculation, setting the district's appropriation limit for the fiscal year 2023-24 as required by Article 9 B of the 13th of the Constitution and Chapter 1250 statutes of 1980 as recommended in the Business Services Report. Trustee Meek, you have comments on this item?
Yeah, I would like to offer the motion to approve this, but also notate that the Board of Finance and Audit Subcommittee reviewed the governor's May revise as presented by the CFO and the 23-24 budget for the district. That he supports approval of the budget.
Thank you, Trustee Meek. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Corkins. Any questions or discussion on this item?
I'd just like to thank CFO manager colleges. And Mike, I know this is.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter B, authorization for the Chief Financial Officer to approve the renewal of Blackboard Student Services Managed Contact Center Solutions via the agreement between the Foundation for California Community Colleges and Blackboard, Inc. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. The cost of the district is not to exceed $734,861.78 to be paid from the GU001 unrestricted fund.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Do we have a second? Seconded by Trustee Meek. Any discussion, question? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, letter C, authorization for the Chief Financial Officer to execute a statement of work between the Kern Community College District and SHI International Corporation to provide Amazon Web Services, cloud billing management and optimization services. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. The cost of the district shall not exceed $200,000 to be paid from the GU001 unrestricted fund.
Move approval.
We have a motion approved by Trustee Corkins. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Scrivener. Any discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter D, authorization for the Chief Financial Officer to execute a master services agreement and support agreement between the Kern Community College District and Global CTI Group, Inc. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. The cost of the district not to exceed $275,943 to be paid from the GU001 unrestricted fund.
So moved.
We have a motion approved by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Any discussion on this item? Questions? There are none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter E, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a service agreement between the Kern Community College District and Gartner, Inc. for IT advisory and research services. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. The cost of the district is not to exceed $143,537 to be paid from the GU 001 unrestricted fund. We have a motion approved by trustee Meek. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Corkins. Any questions, discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. That brings us to letter F, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute the first amendment to the antenna site lease agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and T-Mobile West LLC. The extension term is from November 14th, 2023 through November 13th, 2027. The amount payable to the district is $163,415 to be deposited in the GU 001 unrestricted fund.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Do we have a second? Second. Seconded by trustee Carter. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter G, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a contract for services between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Ocelot Career America LLC to provide texting, nudging functionality services. The term is from May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2026. The cost of the district is $616,367 to be paid from the RP 674 restricted program fund.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a tie for second. To think that, but we'll give it to trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Any questions or concerns on this item?
I do.
Trustee Carter?
What's it for?
Texting and nudging.
Yeah, what the heck?
Texting.
$600,000. Anybody answer that one?
Either you guys want
Want me to take it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trustee Carter, this is a texting platform that allows us to have real-time exchange of information with students. And it has proven extremely successful in terms of our enrollment campaigns and our work connecting with students throughout the last few years. So it is an expensive platform, but the dividend is the enrollment numbers that come in as a result of that.
Oh, can you explain how that works? I don't want to go in detail, but.
Just very briefly, it's a fairly elementary tool that allows us to preset a message and then download a series of different cell phone, telephone numbers, and it sends a mass text out designed upon a certain campaign that may have been pre-decided by the enrollment team. And then that just, actualizes in people responding and coming into a Zoom site or responding and coming in and meeting with counselors, getting admission or getting their financial aid questions answered, things like that.
So it's basically communications on things coming up that they need.
On mobile platforms, right?
Just similar technology to the folks that create like a geofence of some sort. For example, you have your smartphone, which I think everybody has now, and you go to a specific area and you can pull data on individuals and find out who was in the general vicinity of, say, Porterville College within the last 6 months. And then you could customize a message or a text and then start populating people's Facebook and things like that with ads to enroll.
This is not GPS based at all. So it's pre-populated based upon students have already contacted us and have maybe completed an application form. They just haven't come in for advising and for registration. So our counselors will reach out to them via text and say, hey, we noticed that you did apply to Bakersfield College or any of the other colleges, and you need to complete your FAFSA form, you need to complete whatever else.
So this is used for enrollment.
Pretty much, yes.
Is
And
that,
advising.
is it only enrollment first, or is this for once it gets the access or access is
a class, do you use it there too?
Some faculty members are using it for academic purposes
So
as
it's
well.
open to everybody, because
Yes.
$600,000 is a lot of money. I'm just wondering what the return is.
Just to give an example, our foundation uses it also for alumni, contact alumni and things like that. So it's a pretty wide array of different.
Is this for,
Purposes.
what's the time frame on this? thing?
It's for 3 years.
Oh, it's for a 3-year period. So $200,000 a year.
I would.
President Habib. Did you want to?
Yeah, if I may add, we follow our data on the use of the text messages, and I can tell you that this year that is ending, we have sent over 300,000 texts to students. So it was a way to engage students more if they're not looking at their emails. Sometimes a text is as simple as look at an email that we just sent you. And so it's a way to engage not only for enrollment purposes, but also so that they follow their financial aid packages and all kinds of information. So it's been an effective tool to re-engage with students.
Thank you.
If I'm hearing that right, it's closing the loop on the enrollment process, which could include financial aid and,
That's accurate.
right.
Yes.
So that's where we're seeing, part of that is we're attributing to the increase we've had in enrollment. Part of that recruitment and completing the loop.
The new generation does not communicate via email like the previous generation did. And so this is meeting students where they are at.
So this is a big part of, what we're after, student success.
Yes.
Um,
And sometimes that work happens as a result of you're close to completion. Submit your graduation form and you can get your degree. And sometimes students don't know that. It's just a nudge that we provide to be able to make that happen.
Stevie.
I was gonna say this thing.
So I think we have a motion in a second. Is that correct? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. It's been notified that our incoming student trustee is now present, so it's the board's pleasure. I'd like to go back to item, the preliminary items, letter A, the seating of the 2023-24 student board member, Johanna Guzman, who's a student at Bakersfield College. Come forward, please. Thank you, Chancellor Burke. Welcome, student trustee Guzman. We'll continue with the agenda. Letter H, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a license exchange and enhancement agreement between the Kern Community College District and Aleutian Company LP. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2024. The cost of the district is not to exceed $3,585,653 to be paid from the GU 001 unrestricted fund. There a motion? We have a motion by trustee Corkin, seconded by trustee Meek. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next up is letter I, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a service agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and the Kern County Superintendent of Schools for the provision of food service for Child Development Center children. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. The cost of the district is not to exceed $200,000 to be paid from the FD 400 Child Development Food Services Fund.
So moved.
We have a motion approved by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any questions? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next up is letter J, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a services agreement between the Kern Community College District and Bank Mobile Technologies, Inc. for the processing of student financial aid refunds. The term is from June 30th, 2023 through June 29th, 2028. The cost of the district does not exceed $425,000 to be paid from the GU 001 unrestricted fund. For motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Gomez Heitzberg, seconded by trustee Corkins. Any discussion on this item or questions? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter K, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a sales order agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Hobson's Inc. to provide onboarding and consulting of Starfish Enterprise Success Platform Scale and Succeed. The term is from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. The cost of the district is not to exceed $178,318.08 to be paid from the RP 674 Restricted Program Fund.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Meek, seconded by trustee Corkins. Any questions on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter L, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute an independent contractor agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and the Virtual Care Group LLC to provide students with access to quality, convenient telemedicine and teletherapy services and consultations with professionals, including doctors, therapists, and counselors through phone and video communications. The term is from September 1st, 2023 through August 31st, 2024. The cost of the district is not to exceed $172,000 to be paid from the RP 383 Restricted Program Fund.
So moved.
I have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Brings us to 10 business services approval items. Letter A, adoption of a resolution to authorize the chancellor to approve an addendum to the Kern Community College District Certified Environmental Impact Report for the district's resource and facility master plan modification project related to Bakersfield College. We have a motion by made by trustee Carter. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. This is a roll call vote. Jennifer, will you pull the board?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. We'll move on to letter B, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a construction agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and the Garland Company for the Bakersfield College SMSR 2021-22 library roof replacement material only project. The term is from June 2nd, 2023 through September 30th, 2023. The cost of the district is not to exceed $498,087.21 to be paid from the CD 100 State Scheduled Maintenance Fund.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve by trustee Jimenez. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Any questions or discussion on this item?
Yeah, I have a question.
Trustee Carter?
$500,000 for the library roof? Just the material? Holy cow. $500,000 for the roof of the library materials only. That's what that said. Holy cow. Oh, coming. Nobody some big skylights in the librry or something?
Yeah, but there are a lot
Uh,
of buckets in the library when it
Yeah.
rains.
Yeah,
Can't we get some more
A
buckets?
lot of leaks.
Oh,
we get a lot of buckets, but the
Wait till
books
the
won't.
price of plywood comes back up. Gee, weird. I just could not believe it.
It's a large roof. Covers a lot of square feet.
Land aircraft here.
Maybe not land one, but you might be able to hold.
Right. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Letter C, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a construction agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Saracoso Community College and Mesa Energy Systems, Inc., DBA MCore Services, Mesa Energy, for Saracoso Community College's SMSR 2022-2023 Mechanical Energy Pumping Systems Repair and Replacement Campus-Wide Phase 2 project. The term is from June 2nd, 2023 through November 28th, 2024. Cost of the district is not to exceed $375,690.84 to be paid from the CD 100 State Scheduled Maintenance Fund. We have a motion to approve by trustee Meek, seconded by trustee Scrivener. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter D, authorization for the chief financial officer to execute a construction agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Gone LED for the Bakersfield College SMSR 2021-22 interior lighting retrofit, campus-wide humanities, business, industrial technology buildings project. The term is from June 2nd, 2023 through October 30th, 2023. The cost of the district is not to exceed $462,180.36 to be paid from the CD 100 State Scheduled Maintenance Fund. Is there a motion to approve? We have a motion to approve by trustee Meek. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is letter E, authorization for the chancellor to submit the 2025-2029 5-year construction plan. A final project proposal for the PC Career Technology Building, a final project proposal for the BC Fine Arts renovation / replacement, and an application for the PC Affordable Student Housing Grant for the Kern Community College District. The projected cost of the projects is $472,887,849, of which $118,809,771 is to be projected to be paid from the state capital outlay funds, and $354,078,078 is to be projected to be paid from the local capital outlay funds.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkin, seconded by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Any questions or discussion on the item?
I have a question.
Trustee Gomez Heitzberg?
It says at the beginning, it's the fine arts renovation replacement, but is that a replacement for the building or renovation of the building? I'm looking, do I look at Randy or Mike?
Portable call.
Trustees, sorry, it's never fits. Trustees, thank you. Trustee Gomez Heitzberg, right now it is targeted for a renovation, but the terminology that the chancellor's office uses is replacement renovation.
I remember that sometimes the decision would be, is it going to cost more for the renovation than it would be to replace the entire building? But for Bakersfield Fine Arts, you're saying it could be a renovation.
Correct. We do an analysis in order, the Chancellor's office asks us to do an analysis on the structural system of the building to see what it would take to bring it up to the current code. And if that's less than 50% of the replacement of the building, then they encourage us to go through with a renovation.
Thank you. So we'll know some point whether it's, which one it's going to be.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Trustee Jimenez.
So for the Bakersfield College soccer field, are there any renovations happening there in the next years?
That is currently on the schedule for Measure J projects for Bakersfield College. There's preliminary planning going on at this point. So we most likely won't see anything coming to the board in the next 12 months, given where we're currently at.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Quick question. We have 351,000,008,000 in around in our these funds. We have this money set aside.
What this identifies is the amount of money that would be needed for the local capital outlay in total. It could, that amount includes current money that we have from Measure J, but also would include future money that we would have to obtain either through future bonds or other means.
So it's kind of like dreaming a little bit.
Long-term forecast.
Well, what, so what do we see? What do we have left over in that Measure J funding? Other bond. What do we have? I mean, cover that, or how much of that will it cover?
Measure J is fully subscribed.
And this is not part of it.
It is part, there's part of Measure J in here.
That's like 25.
So the 5-year capital outlay plan is being revised to include some items that weren't currently in it. So some of that plan is being taken care of with Measure J, actually a very large portion of that, but some of the 5-year plan, like Chancellor Burke talked about, is forward-looking. What are we going to need in the future and associating a dollar value with that? And so some of that is forward-looking about what we may need in the future, but we don't currently have funding for it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. That brings us to number 12, educational services approval, letter A, approval of the attached curriculum reports of courses, programs, certificates, and new community service education course offerings as part of the district's curriculum for Bakersfield College and Saracoso Community College.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Carter. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Letter B, authorization for the chief financial officer to enter into a sub-grant agreement between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and Bitwise Industries to create the Information Technology Project Manager Apprenticeship Program. Term of the agreement is from April 11, 2023 through June 30th, 26. The amount payable is $215,966 to be paid from the RP 282 Restricted Program Fund. This was an item that was pulled.
Yeah, this item was pulled. It's not on our agenda.
Okay, it's on the written agenda here that I have. Okay, good. So we'll move that.
To give me a heart attack.
Yeah. that's a- Okay,
It's not on that.
very good.
Activity.
We'll move to letter C, authorization from the chief financial officer to execute an amendment. Amendment 3 to contract ET 22-01080 between the Kern Community College District and the State of California Employment Training Panel ETP, which will reimburse the district for training provided to eligible employers. The term of the district is to term of the agreement is extended to March 30th, 2024 from December 26, 2023. The amount payable to the district has increased by $151,116 from $837,529 to $988,645 to be deposited in the CE 005 Contract Education Fund.
Question.
We'll need a motion in the second person, and we'll do this
Well,
question.
I needed it on our
It is
agenda. It's all
electronically,
B.
it's B.
I just wondered if we want to rectify that starting now.
Yeah.
So we can just start. B and then go
I'll
through
make that motion
each.
to approve with the amendment that it's
Got it. All right, very good. So we have a motion
Second.
with the amendment, seconded by trustee Corkins. Any discussion or questions on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, so that brings us to the next item, which is now renumbered or relettered to C. Authorization for the chief financial officer to execute agreements between the Kern Community College District as the Central Motherlode Regional Consortium fiscal agent and the CRC local education agencies or LEAs as subgrantees for round 5 K-12 strong workforce program grant for pathway coordinators to provide technical assistance regarding regionally aligned economic and workforce development initiatives. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024. The amount payable to the LEAs is $1,040,000 to be paid from the RP 677 restricted program fund.
Move approval.
We have a motion approved by trustee Corkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. The next item is D, authorization for the chief financial officer to enter into the master agreement for instructional services between the Kern Community College District and the Westside Energy Services Training and Education Center. The term is from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. The cost of the district is estimated to range from $411,000 and $822,000 to be paid from the GU 001 unrestricted fund. We have a motion by trustee Meek. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is E, authorization for the chief financial officer to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the Kern Community College District on behalf of Bakersfield College and the Cesar Chavez Foundation to provide non-credit instruction for their students. The term is from October 15th, 2022 through June 30th, 2024. The cost of the district is $80,000 to be paid from the GU 001 unrestricted funds.
So moved.
There's a motion by trustee Gomez Heitzberg. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any questions or discussion on the item?
I have a question.
Trustee Meek?
So this is non-credit instruction. Is that kind of like what we did before on the non-credit certification that we did on those studies and some of those other?
Now,
But then-
I'll ask Zav or
That was a curriculum approval. This is just entering into an agreement to provide this. We receive a lot of apportionment
Okay, so
for
we
those
do,
classes. And so, yeah, that's not shown in the calculations.
but we do get some.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
I wonder about credit thing. Who's that do? And $80,000, what did we do? I don't understand.
so we're earning funding through the apportionment process for this non-credit activity.
I mean, we're covered, but what, I mean, the ultimate good, what's the ultimate good of it?
They receive non-credit certifications as well and badges and awards for that. And in our funding formula, non-credit is actually reimbursed to us at a higher apportionment level than a regular. That's just the way it is.
Like professional training.
Yep.
That is geared to a specific population.
Right.
So they get the professional training out of it. We get paid. Is that accurate?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is F, approval for a change of the student fee schedule for the Kern Community College District. The change requested is an increase in the Bakersfield College student health fee from $18 per semester and $15 for the summer session to $22 per semester and $18 for the summer session. The increase in student health fees would be effective spring 2024 semester and necessary to meet the campus's ongoing health services costs. The increase in fees payable to the district is estimated to be $40,000 per year to be deposited in the RPSIO restricted program fund.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Scrivener. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is G, authorization for the chief financial officer to accept a subaward agreement for professional services between Kern Community College District on behalf of Portable College and California State University Fresno's Foundation. The term is from January 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. The amount payable to the district is $275,500 to be deposited into the new restricted program grant fund.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Do we have a second? There was a tie over there. I'm not quite sure who it was. Trustee Meek. Okay. Any questions or discussion on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item, approval for Porterville College president to travel to, Accra, Ghana, to participate in conversations on June 27, 2023 through June 29, 2023 with the Jospong Group with the goal of expanding curriculum and programmatic collaborations to support the upskilling of their workforce. Cost of the district is not to exceed $1,200 to be paid from the GU001 unrestricted fund.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Corkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jimenez. Any discussion or questions on the item? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 14, human resources approval, letter A. This is an adoption of resolution authorizing payment to trustee Agbalog, who was absent from the board meeting on May 11, 2023.
Move approval.
We have a motion by trustee Corkins, seconded by trustee Meek. Okay, this is a resolution. Jennifer, will you pull the board, please?
Aye.
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 Hi.
I'll abstain. Chancellor Burke has informed me that we need to go back to item 8A. And this is it's a resolution. Is that correct, Chancellor Burke?
Yeah, the Guyana appropriations limit, the chancellor's office is now requiring us to adopt a resolution for that limit. So we'll need a roll call. So
Okay. So do we need to restate the motion and the second, or do we just go into the roll call vote?
can they go right into the roll call vote?
So the motion and a second, so we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote on that item. Jennifer, will you pull the board, please?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. So we'll jump back to item 16, committee and ad hoc committee reports and report of foundation activities by trustee liaisons. Letter A, this is the Board Finance and Audit Committee reports of the board. Trustee Meek.
Yes, thank you. The Board Finance and Audit Subcommittee met on May 25th, 2023. The items covered included the governor's May revise for the 23 budget and the KCCD 20. District in this board continues to ensure the state of our colleges and districts in a very strong position to battle any headwind. For the report.
Thank you, Trustee Meek. Is there anybody, any questions on the item or the report? Thank you, Trustee Meek. Moving on to 17 reports, letter A, facility report links. Are there any questions on information provided in the links? If not, we'll move on to B, faculty reports. So we'll move on to C, classified reports. Okay. How about letter D, management association reports? Cool.
Good afternoon, Interim Chancellor, Board of Trustees. I'd like to start by recognizing and congratulating all of the graduates at Bakersfield College, Saracosa Community College, and Porterville College. Of special note are those that worked multiple jobs in order to finish, those that are looking to enter a new career, and those who are still in high school. Want to send our congratulations out to all of them. I also want to congratulate the new student board member, Johanna Guzman. Congratulations. I'd also like to give some congratulations to the Symposium Planning Committee. The symposium was a wonderful event. The Planning Committee was headed up by Chad Hauk and included Ashley Wagner Ward, Dan Hall, Catherine Bachman, Susan Hubble, and Frank Ramirez, and they did a great job this year. The keynote speaker, Ronnie Habib, was wonderful and there were many positive comments about his workshop and his presentations. The food was great, especially dessert, always a personal favorite. So many thanks to Chef Amaya, Fidel Cabuena, and the food services team. We had 105 members across the district attend. A little more than half were from Bakersfield College, which is roughly in line with our membership proportionately. About 10% were from Saracosa Community College and the district office separately, and another 20% were from Porterville. We've sent out a survey to all of our members who attended to see how we can improve next year and to make sure that we're meeting the professional development needs of our members. We will be holding elections this year. As you may recall, our board members serve alternating 2-year cycles. And so approximately half our members will rotate back into a vote of our membership. Some may rotate off and others may be elected into a 2-year term. Finally, we're starting to prepare our 22-23 year-end accomplishments report, which I will present to you not next month, since you're not meeting next month, but at the next Board of Trustees meeting. And that concludes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, college reports.
Good afternoon, President Agbalog, trustees, and Chancellor Burke. If I'm smiling a little bit wider today, is because it's a month of celebrations. It was wonderful in the month of May to have our commencement, graduating almost 600 students, and it was a beautiful ceremony. And by the way, a good way to showcase the newly remodeled stadium that was possible through the Measure J and Measure G bonds. I want to thank Trustee Corkins, Chancellor Burke for attending, and also for the representation from the district with Vice Chancellor Anderson and also Director of HR, Gina Duran. It was great to have you at the celebration, and thank you to the trustees who sent the best wishes to our students. Following that graduation, we also had the nursing graduation and the site tech, and those two cohorts have a special place for me because the cohort of students really went through the COVID times, and it was really challenging for them in that kind of field. And they did it, they persevered, and they graduated, and that was amazing. I'm invited tonight to attend the graduation for one of the high schools that have 28 dual enrollment graduates, and I'll be speaking at that graduation at Summit High School. Also, time to celebrate. Yesterday, we attended, as it was mentioned before, the Excellence in Placement Awards at the Campaign for College Opportunity. Thank you so much for the company and the support from the district with Trustee Gomez Heitzberg, Trustee Jimenez, Sonia was there, Vice Chancellor Gregory Anderson, of course, thank you for the support for taking the drive there. We received 4 awards, as it was mentioned, including equity designations for the progress that we made in closing racial and equity gaps for Latino and Black students. And I need to mention that this is really due to the work of the faculty who really quickly adopted and implemented AB 705, believing in the research and really moving forward with the changes necessary. So that goes to them. And last, I would like to acknowledge that June is Pride Month, and we celebrate and support LGBTQ IA plus students and the community. And I have heard from students who say that they now feel seen, they're visible, and they're thriving with our support. And of course, congratulations to our new student trustee, Guzman. Welcome aboard. We're looking forward to your contributions. That ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, trustees. First, I want to apologize for being a few minutes late. Corey Marvin, Vice President of Instruction, standing in for Sean, Dr. Hancock today. He's somewhere, I think, between Santorini and Athens. So we wish him well and much relaxation. I also want to highlight you have our report of the Howler for this month, which includes a number of our photos and narrative about our commencement activities. I do also want to thank Trustee Scrivener and Interim Chancellor Burke and Vice Chancellor Anderson for attending at the ceremony. It was wonderful. We turned the stage around this year, and it was a little bit nip and tuck about whether there would be enough room, but there was in the end. I do just want to highlight one fact in our Howler, and this year we are graduating. We gave over 1,000 awards this year, and that's the first time at this point in the year when we have reached over 1,000 awards for our students. Almost 600 students received 1,000 awards. Last year it was close to 1,950 or so. By the time the year was done, I was looking at it this morning. We ended up last year with 1,165. So we're hoping for a couple of hundred more awards to come in over the course of the year. And I mention that because Trustee Gomez Heitzberg mentioned the vision for success earlier. And I want to say that when you look on the Cognos report, it goes back 10 years. 10 years ago, we were giving 250 awards a year. So that has been tremendous progress at Saracoso due to staff and largely due to the commitment of faculty members. And also of those graduates this year, 36 were students getting both their associate degree and their high school diplomas at the same time. And for a small school like us, that is a very large number. So we're excited about that. And also congratulations to the new trustee.
Good afternoon, President Abalog, Board of Trustees, and also to our Chancellor Burke. I would like to just echo that BC has celebrated a lot of students this past month. I'll highlight some of those things, even though you've got the report. On May 12th, Bakersfield College celebrated its 109th commencement ceremony. Over 1,400 graduates received either certificate or a degree. We're very proud of the students. We're proud of the faculty and the staff that celebrated and helped those students cross the finish line. At BC, we have what we call pre-commencement ceremonies. And so leading up to the commencement, we have pre-commencement ceremonies, and we had 8 of those this year. First one was early college. And as Corey had mentioned, we had 175 students receive their AA degree before they received their high school diploma. And that was just incredible. 175 students. The second program was the Student Firefighter 1 graduation. We had the RN pinning ceremony at Valley Bible Fellowship. And on May 12th, which is that Friday, my day started with the closing day ceremonies. And then we have the Welcome Center ribbon cutting ceremony. And I want to thank Nan Gomez-Heisberg for joining us. And on the commencement day, I want to thank trustees Nan Gomez-Heisberg, our Romeo Apgalog, and also Giovanni Jimenez for being part of the celebration on that evening. So if you can imagine, we started with closing day, the Welcome Center ribbons cutting ceremony. And then we got in the car with Billy Joe Rice, Vice President Billy Joe Rice, and Vice President Imelda Valdez. We drove to Delano, celebrated those students who are graduating from Delano. We went to the Chicano Latino celebration, the African American celebration, the Lavender celebration, the Industrial Automation celebration as well, those students getting their bachelor's degree. So that day, we put a lot of steps on our in our walking that day. So I want to just congratulate those students. On Tuesday, May 30th, I attended the McFarland High School Early College graduation. And I want to thank Trustee Abalog for being part of that as well. And 4 years ago, we launched the Early College program. And I just want to announce 29 students received a Spanish associate degree for transfer. And so it's going to change that community, it's going to change that town. And we ask all of the students to stand if they have taken at least one class from Bakersfield College. And I want to tell you that almost all of the class stood up. And so we are making a difference in McFarland. I'll be attending the Arvin High School graduation program tomorrow, along with Trustee Jimenez. And so we'll be celebrating those students as well. Just today is day number 13. I'm just in my 3rd week. And I haven't had a chance to thank the Board of Trustees. So I want to take this time now to say thank you for this opportunity to serve as president of Bakersfield College. Been doing a lot of listening, working with my executive team, even had my first president's cabinet meeting. And if you can only imagine, the media has been trying to talk to me for 3 weeks. So finally, I had them all there, got it over with. I was on the Ralph Bailey show yesterday. So hopefully they will not be asking to interview me in the next few weeks. I hope. I want to take those who have supported me over the last 9 years. I want to thank Dr. Zav Databoy for giving me this opportunity to work at Bakersfield College. A special thank you to Dr. Sonia Christian. I also want to thank my family. My wife has been with me for 33 years, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. Looking forward to working with my 2 presidents, Dr. Habib and Dr. Hancock. And it's all about making the district stronger. So I'm looking forward to working with you. And Dr. Habib gave me a piece of advice. She said, Steve, give yourself a little grace. And so I'm going to take that advice. I would just like to say summer, fall numbers are strong. And the well wishes from the campus colleagues and community supporters have made me very humble, very grateful. And I strongly believe that BC will continue to be the community's college. And so my 3rd week, I'm sure that I'm going to continue to learn. I just want to thank my executive team for supporting me and thank Tom Burke, Chancellor Burke, for giving me advice when needed. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Chancellor Burke.
Thank you. First, I want to start out by welcoming our new trustee, Joanna Guzman. Welcome. find this year very educating and very enjoyable. Look forward to working with you. So I was also going to talk about the commencement. I enjoyed personally attending the graduations this year at Saracoso Community College and at Porterville College. Thank you, and please express my thanks to your staff that put on extremely great graduations. I also brought some numbers, but you guys did all the college numbers, so I'm going to do the summary report. So district-wide, we awarded 7,682 degrees. And we had 2,008 students attend graduation ceremonies. I believe those are records for this district. So, good work, you guys. Keep it up. You heard about the tentative budget. It's a bit challenging, but I think we've got a good strategy, and I think it will bode well, or our strategy will not only pay off this year, but pay off next year as well. Also handed to you earlier today, the California School Boards Association publication. There's an article in there talking about dual enrollment. Kudos to the entire dual enrollment team. Thank you to Kylie Campbell for providing the hard copies for the board, because there is a extensive component of that article that essentially calls out the district and our college's dual enrollment strategies as a model for the entire state. So good job on that. I also like to thank the Management Association for inviting me to speak at their symposium. I really appreciated the opportunity to address the managers. Thank you. Also like to thank CSEA. They had a series of lunches celebrating CSEA week, one of which was here. And for the first time that I can remember, they actually invited me to come have lunch with them. So it was very enjoyable. I got to meet a lot of the new employees here at the district office. So thank you, CSEA. Finally, I also got the opportunity to attend Central Valley Higher Education Caucus Retreat. That was actually yesterday. They had individuals from the league and the state chancellor's office reviewing legislative issues, budget issues. The caucus also, we always have time to kind of trade notes amongst ourselves. The caucus constitutes CEOs from the Central Valley community colleges. I always find it interesting to hear some of the challenges that our colleagues at other colleges are going through. One of the things that I really feel good about is that many of their issues that they raise, we've encountered in our past and we have solved. And so I can actually offer recommendations for solutions to these issues. So I always find that gratifying. Anyway, that concludes my report.
Chancellor Burke. Okay, that brings us to Board of Trustees reports and inquiries. Begin into my left, Trustee Scrivener.
Yes, I just want to say two things. Once, welcome, Trustee Guzman. It's wonderful to have you here and your contributions and perspective. Also want to just say what a privilege it was to be with the team out at Saracoso and to witness what this is all about. And this is my first opportunity to experience that as a trustee. And it was just truly a wonderful grounding reminder of what all this work is about, and that connectivity to the team that is on the ground. Serving those students was a privilege to meet so many of them. So I wish them all a comfortable, relaxing, restorative summer for those that get that, and just what a privilege it is to serve with all of you.
Thank you. Trustee Mead.
Thank you. Congratulations to everybody and all the graduates. Hard work. I'm on. back to hitting it. Tom, the article in today's paper about the survey.
Yeah, that was a grant submitted as part of the overall SURF program. And essentially, we were, our application, this application, there are gonna be many other sub-grants associated with it in the future. I know that Dr. Data Boy and his group is doing the homework to identify, where we came up short so that we can going forward with our subsequent applications, be successful. I will have a report put together for the board and send that to each of you when we get some more of these details.
Yeah, found it interesting in the article, they were looking for shovel ready. Where I thought getting grants.
Yeah, we should have information shortly. Or I should say more information shortly.
Trustee Corkins.
Welcome, student trustee Johanna. Everybody's going to tell you that, so. Good luck. Not as simple as you think. Chancellor and I attended Porterville College graduation. It was one of the best run graduations. And that was 16th or 17th. Graduated Dr. Beebe and her staff. They did a very good job that night. Graduated 400 plus students again. Couple items I want to bring up today. I congratulate Trustee Carter on his comments on budgetary items as we go through payouts. And you can see very quickly, I was talking with Trustee Gomez Heitzberg prior to the meeting about 2008 to 2010, 11, 12. We can harbor that all we want, but we have something coming in front of us. I don't think we're totally prepared for what's going to happen because we don't know what's going to happen. So we have to prepare as if the ship's taking on water and get the pumps and bilges running and get ready to hang on. You can see very quickly the amount of money we spend here, how quickly we can get in trouble. And that's what I told Heitzberg. Doesn't take us long to all of a sudden look back and say we're $15 million under. But we have to be aware of where we're going. It really starts with the leadership at the colleges. You have to be looking at your budgets for Plan A, Plan B plus C, Plan C, which I'm sure Mike is doing. So just be aware, things like the texting, which makes great sense in a tough budget time, they go away. Those are things that we have to make those hard decisions on. Today, we're still in good enough shape with the reserves to move forward and to keep looking at things in a positive manner. But we are, the Finance Committee, very nervous in our discussions about what the future brings with the state of California. Things are not going well financially in California, if you haven't noticed. And the LAO has pointed out to them, they have $60 billion of one-time funds that the legislative folks don't want to get back to the governor to balance the budget. Hasn't got enough in reserves to balance the budget. So it's going to become a real tug of war. And that's Mike's comments were very appropriate today. There's going to be a lot of finagling going on the next 2 weeks to see what happens and where they plan. So, but I appreciated your comments today, and you can see how much money we're spending around. That'll scare the dickens out of you. I only say that because I told Tom earlier, what we went through in 8, 9, 10, 11 made me a better businessman in my own companies. Scared me here. So I went back and got scared there. And the other thing we're seeing is what we saw then too. Just before that started, we saw escalating prices on our building and construction costs, which you could see today. We're in an inflationary cycle. And if we do hit the recession, that'll be the end of the inflationary cycle. That's when Tom and I remember cases, we had building projects going on that we were getting bids lower than when we had allocated. We got late into the recession. We're ahead of that. We're short of funds to build the projects, library roof and so forth. See what that number would look like 3 years from now if we go through a recession. I'll be down 20%. So those are just the things we always have to be aware of. You have to be thinking of the money all the time. Unfortunate, because our job is education. I appreciate what you do there. Speaking to the educational side, young lady that spoke to us about her son, chemistry and calculus, and having taken those courses throughout my life, my college career, they're difficult to take live, let alone online. I've said this before, I'll continue to say this. Sooner we get them all back in the classroom, the more successful we're going to be. I'm not opposed to online courses. I'm opposed to online courses for certain subjects. I am especially opposed to online courses at the level we're teaching them today. It's too convenient for students to just take online and not get to the classroom. I'm a big believer in the collegial experience. It was very good for me. It was emotionally good. And it helped mature me in ways I don't think I ever would have had I not gone to college. That was an unfortunate story. Sounds like the young man will be okay. Those were two classes that I would challenge any professor to do a good job of teaching those online. I don't know how you can teach chemistry and calculus online. I don't know. I struggled in the classroom. So just like everybody to be aware of that. I think we've got to get them back into the class. Continue. You're all on that mission. You're all doing it. It's too easy to fill up our online courses first, which Steve shows me at 30% fills up immediately. They don't want to come back to the classroom. Employees up in Seattle at Amazon don't want to go back to work 3 days a week, going to lose their jobs, which will be just, that's what they think. So we've gone into a post-COVID problem and got to work our way out of it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take you time. I thought her story was very compelling. I'm sorry for what they've gone through. There was no alternative at the time either. I do understand that. Couldn't take chemistry and calculus live. It's unfortunate. Timing is everything in life. So that's my report. More than I've said in 3 minutes.
Thank you, trustee Corkin. Trustee Jimenez.
I want to start by saying congratulations to Portobello College in receiving those 4 awards in excellence and placement. That's a big deal that is recognized across the state of California. So with that, thank you, Dr. Habib, for your leadership at Portobello College. And also welcome to our new student trustee, Johanna Guzman. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Trustee Carter.
I got a few things to say. I'll start off by saying, welcome. And it's a lot to this. Just getting the acronyms down is something else. But first off, I want to say, I think that you people are the most amazing people I've met. Some of you guys are just over the top great at what you do. And I thank you for that. So I don't want what I say next to hurt your feelings or make you feel bad, but to challenge you to something better. Sharice Montano was a lady that one of the calls that I've gotten in the last, I don't know, 2 months regarding this situation of hers was more online classes, but more than that, it was also about the being able to transfer those credits as you go through your learning experience and to the different colleges. A few, I don't know, a month or two ago, the president of the board called me up and said, "Hey, I want you to chair the new student success subcommittee." And I thought, well, what the heck's that? You know, he goes, "Oh, well, that's the equity, diversity, and inclusion. We've changed the name to student success." And I thought, wow, that's a really good idea, Romeo. I think that's wonderful, but you got the wrong guy. I'm just a dumb old contractor. This is so far out of my bailiwick. Isn't there somebody better that could better do this? And he said, "No, I think you're the right guy for the job." So I took that tongue in cheek to say, maybe I can do this. Maybe I'll look into it. But student success, I have been looking into it, and I've been calling around and asking questions. I have 4 daughters. My wife and I have 4 daughters. They're all in their 30s and 40s now. 3 of the 4 went to Bakersfield College, believe it or not. And I wish the 4th would have went there, but she didn't. But anyway, I went to them before I ran for this office, and I said, "What do you think the problems are with the whole junior college experience?" And I talked to them separately, not all in the same room, but every one of them came back to me and said, being able to transfer your credits, it's an issue. And being able to get through college, a two-year degree is not a 2-year degree. It's more like a 3, 4, 5-year degree. You guys know that, right? And while we have so many things to celebrate, while we have record numbers of people that are graduating and we're getting awards and being noticed, and we've got this mammoth district that's bigger than any of the districts in the state and junior colleges, and we're one of the largest college districts in the whole United States. Holy cow. People need to stand up and take notice of Kern Community College District, Porterville College, Saracoso College, and Bakersfield College. And they need to take notice for the size we are, for the area that we encompass, for the amazing things that we're doing. I want us to step up to the plate and take this student success thing very, very, very seriously, more so than you're already doing, because I know you do take it seriously, but we need to take it a step farther. Now, here's the thing. We have extra opportunity here because our chancellor just left to be the state chancellor, right? We need to put some pressure on her because we all got her phone number to start pushing this through the state. We need, as junior college, we need to reach up to the UCs and the higher education here within our state and say, let's make all of these credits, all of these things, they have to transfer. It's crazy the way it's doing it. I shared this little story in our first subcommittee meeting about a story that I was read to in 3rd grade. Back east, when the states were all colonies and what have you, and the railroad system was coming about, steam engines and what have you. They all thought they were so smart and so cute. They made the rail lines different distances apart, right? So what we do is you get up the end of the municipality you're in, or the state, or the county, or wherever you would have to offload your train into another train. Everything, all your stuff you put on the one train, you have to take and offload it by hand into another one, just because the train tracks don't line up. It was all about money. I think that's a crying shame. And so did our government. And they said, no, you can't do this anymore. Here is how wide we're making train tracks. That's as simple as that was, right? It was a hard job changing them all, but shame on those people. I think a lot of what we're doing is all about money. When I ran for this position, Mark Abernathy, which is a good name or a bad name, whichever side of the table you stand on, came to me and said, you know what? He says, I'm very much against having a 4-year baccalaureate degree at Bakersfield College. And I said, why? I think it's the greatest idea there is. And he said, because it keeps kids in college longer. And you guys are keeping kids in college, and it's just about money. It's just about to get those FTESs. I disagree with that. I don't think that's why you're here. But I got to tell you, that's what the public is saying. That's what this lady here was saying. This is about money. Why are you doing this? So we're getting a black eye out of this, you guys. This is our opportunity. We got Sonia going to Sacramento, not literally, but she's going to be the head lady there. We need to start putting some pressure on this. This needs to be something, the largest college district, one of the largest, if not the largest in the United States. We need to take this on, you guys. It's up to you. It's up to us. Why aren't we doing this? Let's make these credits transferable. Let's make it easier for kids. Let's make a 2-year college a 2-year college. So that's my challenge. Let's do this thing. We talked about budgeting today. This takes money. Do we have money in there to budget for this? Can we eke out some dough? Can we find out what needs to be spent where to get this to happen? Who do we need to, do we need to have people to negotiate this for us? This needs to happen. This is what we need to be all about, making sure our credits are worth something, making sure they transfer. Because if they don't transfer, they're not worth a dang thing, except for a plaque on the wall. And if that's true, then we're robbing people. We're robbing people. But I say this as a challenge to you. You're doing great, wonderful, amazing things, but it's not quite good enough yet. That's our challenge. Student success is a real thing. We've got to look at this. And it's not just, it's for the whole group. I believe that Sunday school song, you know, red, yellow, green, black, and white, we're all precious in his sight. I believe that. And so when they rolled out this equity, diversity, inclusion, it was mainly about people of color getting, not getting their fair shot. Well, I think this is for all of us. This is something that all of us need. We all need transferable credits. So let's work on that. Put that in your forefront of your mind. This is important. I don't want us all to be labeled crooks.
Thank you. Trustee Gomez Heitzberg.
I'm going to follow that. I appreciate your passion and your belief in student success, because out of the 40 years that I've been associated with the Kern Community College District, we live for student success, but we're always getting better tools every year. And I think that's part of the challenge. How do we use the tools that we have today and the tools that we may get tomorrow to see that more students are successful? So I appreciate that, Trustee Carter. I just want to say to Trustee Guzman, your voice and your perspective as a student is important for us to hear, because all of our decisions need to have students at the center. And so please feel free to speak up. You're a member of this group now. And so as you see things come along, share with us what's important to students across the district, because I know you'll speak for all the students. So thank you for being here. I'd like to highlight something that Vice President Marvin said, because it really speaks to keeping your eye on the data. You mentioned the data and you mentioned the student-centered funding formula, because without that, we aren't going to have the money to do the things we want to do and need to do. And the vision for success, which does measure how successful we are with all students. So when we get that in August, we're going to see all of our students, how successful are we being? And then there's a deep dive within that shows us where are we not being as successful. And that's where I think we put our time and energy to see that all students are lifted up and they're able to get across the finish line. And then lastly, I just want to say how much I appreciate this board and the wisdom on this board, that you can speak from experience, the stability that we have, so that as we get into times that are not going to be as fruitful as they were in the past, we have experience to guide us. And with Tom Burke as our chancellor and Mike as our vice chancellor of finance, I feel like we're in good hands. So thank you both.
Secret weapon, John Gordon.
I don't know if we should call him a secret weapon. Resource, maybe.
Student Trustee Guzman. Thank you. I'll be brief in my remarks and just say to the faculty, staff, and administration at the three colleges, congratulations and thank you. And welcome aboard. I'll I'll just wrap up. I have something here that I have to read. Generally as board members, we enjoy every opportunity to brag about current CCD's achievements at every local, statewide, and national platform. The Association of Community College Trustees, or ACCT, is a national organization, has an awards program that is designed to recognize and honor outstanding community college trustees, equity programs, presidents, faculty members, and professional board staff members at a regional and national level. Our very own trustee Gomez Heitzberg sits on the ACCT Board of Directors. Trustee Corkins made an announcement at the May meeting about 2 presentation proposals we were supporting for the ACCT Leadership Congress being held in October. I'm pleased to follow that announcement to share that our support of 2 ACCT award nominations, the first being the Marie Y. Martin Chief Executive Officer Award for Chancellor Sonia Christian's leadership and contribution to the Kern Community College District. And the second being the Charles Kennedy Equity Award for Kern CCD's state leadership in dual enrollment. So I'm not sure if we're not agendized to take board action, but I think that these are worthy proposals that we should support as a board, and would ask for the board's concurrence in moving forward with these applications. And that concludes my report. Mr. Burke.
Yes, I was remiss and omitted a couple items from my report. First of all, I want to congratulate Porterville College for the equity designations that they received last night. College Opportunity Organization. And finally, having personal experience at this, I know how challenging and difficult it is. And so CFO Mike Giacomini, thank you, and to the associate vice presidents at each of the administration at each of the colleges. Thank you for pulling together next year's tentative budget. It was, I know, extremely challenging with the moving target of the California budget. But I want to thank you guys for doing the hard work, and the district will go in starting July 1 with a tentative budget for the 23-24 fiscal year. Thank you.
With that, we are hereby adjourned.
Well, it's always great to see you and really great. And you enjoy. And I'm happy that you're enjoying. To share for the big chair.
Oh, it'll happen.
It sounds like